What's up, guys? So I'm back, and I'm sorry for the delay in videos because I've been trying to juggle real life stuff, and I've been trying to get my mojo back, I guess, as far as playing Pokemon's concerned for a while. I went on a little hiatus, and I came back feeling a little refreshed, and I did a session, but after that session, I felt kind of worn out, and so I just took a break for a couple days and decided to come back with a team building video because I had a request for it from Walnut Sloth, so thank you for that. And it's something I've been meaning to do for quite a while. It's something that I planned to do as soon as I started my channel, but I really haven't actually gotten around to. I've really only showed off teams that I've actually completed. So what I'm going to do is do a walkthrough of how I actually make the teams, what I take into consideration, and all that general stuff. But before we start, I do want to ask if there is anything else that you guys would like to see in terms of content. I will primarily focus on Pokemon, but I can also do other stuff. I mean, there's really no restrictions on the stuff that I can do. So if there's something you're interested in seeing, please let me know. And as far as Pokemon's concerned, let me know if you want me to do other types of, other types of sessions. Maybe you want me to do some random Pokemon generator stuff. I know that's gotten kind of popular lately on YouTube. Or if you want me to do other tiers, anything like that. I'm not exactly the best at other tiers. The higher up they go, the less skilled and less experienced I am in them, but I'm always willing to give them a try if you guys want to see that. But for now, I think we're just going to focus on building an NU team, and I will begin by, let's see, the hardest part for this is always beginning, and what I'm taking into consideration right now is either I want to start with something that I know is an answer to a big threat, like for alligators, say Lantern or something like that, or if I want to start with something that I don't really use or haven't used and I want to use. So I think what I'm going to do is start building around something that I really want to use and then find answers to those problems along the way. So if I can find something that I want to use that actually happens to answer something, on an opponent's team, possibly, like for alligator, like I said, Girder, Seismitoad, Vileplume, Mismagius, Fire Spam like Typhlosion, all of those are good. So come to think of it, I probably will use Lantern because Lantern is a decent answer to both Fire Spam and for alligator. So I might do a set. The biggest thing is that I want to get an EV spread right. Something that can handle both physical and special attacks, most likely, because Lantern has a great base HP stat, 125, that's very high, especially in NU, but it's got middling defenses, so they're kind of mitigated, but they could be a whole lot better. Now, what I'm thinking here is that I will put in a kind of standard set for like a pivot Lantern that a lot of people have used, and that basically involves doing 40 in health, and then mixing up the defenses a little bit. And so what I'm going to do is put more into physical defense and then the rest into special defense, so it'll kind of even it out. Not exactly, special defense is still much higher, as you can see, 215 to 242, but it still kind of evens things out, and it gives me a decent answer to things, like I said, like for alligator, because for alligator is generally a 2 water stab moves in Aqua Jet and Waterfall, and either Ice Punch return or maybe Earthquake, and that's about it, along with Swords Dance or Dragon Dance for its 4th move. So as long as the for alligator doesn't have Earthquake, Lantern can be a very good answer to it. In addition, it has 2 great abilities in Water Absorb and Volt Absorb. The hard choice here is deciding which one I want to use, because Lantern already does resist water type moves thanks to its own water typing, but it would be great to have a catch-all for alligator in that sense. But considering that it could have earthquake, for alligator, could have earthquake, and could have return, which are both very strong in their own right, it won't stop for alligator for long. It will just stop it from using its water moves. So I would rather have Volt Absorb, because it can stop all electric type attacks, and it can, you know, in that sense, stop a Rotom fan from Volt switching around, or Raichu from switching around, because neither of them have great options for stopping Lantern, and Lantern can do a lot. Can't do a ton back because Lantern is not very strong, but we're going to give it leftovers. But it does have a great array of moves, so we're going to put Volt Switch in there to make it a bulky pivot, and then we're also going to throw Scald on. Why not? Scald. And we can put Ice Beam on there. That wouldn't be too bad. Let's just take a look at the moves. Actually, come to think of it, I'm going to put Heal Bell on there, but I can still add another move. So let's see. Ice Beam's good. I guess the real question is whether or not I want to run... Let's see. If I want to run some status, Toxic or Thunder Wave, or if I want to just run Heal Bell. But I think I will run Heal Bell because it gives it some more support options. You can switch in on something, Heal Bell, Volt Switch out, and your team is cured of status. So why don't we do that? We'll put an on Ice Beam, and that gives it some really good coverage against flying types, which you already have with Volt Switch, or against the ground types who... No, never mind, you already have Scald for that. Grass types, of course. But we will put Heal Bell on there, and we'll have a pretty decent looking Lantern set already. So now the biggest obstacle is kind of out of the way. Now what we want to do is find something that complements Lantern in terms of typing synergy. Okay, so let's take a look at what Lantern's weak to. Actually, what I'm going to do is never mind. Lantern is weak to ground. I know this. Lantern is weak to ground and grass, and I think that's it. Is that it? Yeah, well, anyway, if we get something that resists ground and grass on the team, then that will be ultra beneficial. So what we could do is add a flying type, something that can switch in on things that Lantern is weak to, and more importantly, its counters that switch in off the Volt Switch. We can find something that resists ground and grass and just go right into them. So if we look up flying types, let's see, flying. Those are all LC. So we got Xatu, not a bad choice. Vivillon, Vespiquen, no. Tropius, I don't think so. Let's see. Pelipper's alright, and it does have good synergy with the electric resistance that Lantern provides, or excuse me, the electric immunity. But it's a little too bulky, too underwhelming in terms of power, so I might want to have something else. I'm not seeing too much in the way of interesting types on here, however. Let's see. But this is actually kind of tough. Now, we don't necessarily have to go with a flying type, just because that has really good synergy with Lantern. The thing is, there are other things that resist ground and grass, so why don't we just get out of there, and why don't we go back to the NU Pokemon? How about that? So, am I still too far down? Okay. So, we'll look through here. What resists ground and grass? It doesn't have to resist both. It can resist one or the other, and that's fine with me. But it's good if they can resist both. So let's see, things that can resist ground and grass. Go-Goat is definitely a good partner there. I've always kind of wanted to try a bulk up set. So how about a... I could run a bulk up set, yeah. It's got great HP, really decent attack, and it gets access to Milk Drink, which is really awesome. So how about... How about we give it Horn Leech, Earthquake, it gets that right. Bulk Up could be good. Its defense is already pretty pitiful, so what we're going to have to do with this is come in on special Pokemon. Sceptile, it's a really good answer to that. It could be a... It's not really a very good answer to Vileplume, so we're going to have to keep that in mind. But it does serve as a pseudo sort of counter to the for alligators, which is good. Yeah. So why don't we... But we already have an answer for that, so sorry if this is a little mixed up. I'm trying to explain everything, and I normally just kind of think it out in my head and say, oh, this would work, that wouldn't work, so it's kind of weird to try and explain it all. But why don't we start with the EVs first? So this can definitely be max HP. I'm going to put in... let's see, I'm going to put in enough to outspeed base 70s. Just enough to... I'll put in 16 so I can outspeed him by 2. And then we can put... wow, this thing has decent special attack. Now, its defense is so low that even after a bulk up, it's still kind of middling in its effectiveness. But we will still just go with a pretty much max special defense set, because I've never run this before and I'd rather see how it works. So keep in mind that this is not going to be perfect. As soon as I'm done with it, it's just this is kind of my idea about how it should work. If it looks good on paper, maybe it works well in practice. But, you know, it might not, and I'll have to come back to the drawing board, but it could definitely be okay. So Sap Sipper really works, because that means we have full immunity to grass types. That means we have full immunity to electric and grass. That's really awesome. And then we can give it leftovers, of course. Leftovers. So we've got a decent sort of core, I guess, defensive core, but nothing on this really screams wall at the moment, so we're going to have to keep that in mind. We're going to have to look for some other ones that do scream wall. And we'll just throw bulk up on there. And let's see. We will, I guess, Milk Drink. Milk Drink works. That way we can keep our HP up, which is very high, which is definitely a huge part of our defensiveness. That way we can keep all of our health and keep going. And if we do get status, we can go into Lantern and get a Hillbill off and maybe salvage Go-Go. So that's good. Now we can find something that's really a solid wall. These guys have really good synergy together, so we can throw something on there. Maybe 2 other sorts of walls that have good synergy with one another as well. And that way we have a couple of different options. You know, sometimes on my teams I like to make it so that all 4 of my defensive mons, because I usually have 4 defensive mons and 2 offensive mons, I like to keep it within the typing family for those mons. But sometimes that doesn't always work. You know, I like to revolve around the psychic, dark, fighting, steel, fairy sort of like typing advantages and disadvantages. So all of my walls can resist those, be immune to those, whatever. But that doesn't always work because they aren't exactly the most common types, though they are common. And it means that big offensive presences like fire types and water types can really blow through those teams. So it's good to have like 2 pairs of different walls with synergy. And at that rate, we are going to find something that doesn't really have anything to do with those other ones. Now, we can definitely use something like Hariyama, we can definitely use Grumpig, we can use Gramble. Those are all really good mons. But actually, I might use Grumpig. Grumpig has a really respectable special attack stat, really good speed, really good HP, and of course great special defense, along with its ability Thick Fat, which means that it takes half damage from fire and ice type moves, which means that even if Lantern and Go-Go don't work out, it can still handle some special attacks as well. So it kind of serves as a middle ground. However, come to think of it, Psychic resists what? It resists fighting, it resists... What else does it resist? Does it resist anything else? Resist fighting. I don't think it resists anything else. And it's weak to knockoff, and ghost in general, which means Mismagius can be a huge problem. And dark types are also just a big problem in general, but... Maybe we'll come back to the idea of Grumpig. How about we try and find something that can handle... Well, this thing can handle Vileplume. Thing can handle Vileplume. Yeah, maybe. Okay, we'll stick with Grumpig. We'll stick with Grumpig so that we can handle Vileplumes, and that'll be really helpful, because Vileplume can be a huge problem as a wall, and nobody really wants to deal with it very much these days. So, since we have Heal Bell on the Lantern, we don't need to put Heal Bell on here. My biggest concern is finding... I might put Taunt on here. I'll put Taunt on here and then a stab move. Now, do we want Psychic or Psyshock? I think I'm going to go with Psychic, because I believe that the Vileplumes that most people run these days are physically defensive most of the time, and Girder is also generally more physically bulky. A lot of people do run special defense investment, but if they set up bulk ups, then their physical defense is still much higher. So we're gonna go with that, and this can be just an all-out wall. So I don't want to set up like with Calm Mind or anything. But let's see. Maybe this doesn't get Dazzling Gleam or Moonblast, which is too bad. But we have Taunt on there. That's pretty good. And we can put some status on there. That might not be too bad. Like Thunder Wave. I know a lot of people run Thunder Wave on it, which is good because it's fast enough to slow down some things before they really get a chance to hurt you, possibly inflict them with full paralysis on a turn. And this thing will be great to slow down things like Typhlosion, who, you know, this thing can take its hits and strike back with that and really mess it up. Now, as for the last move, I'm not really sure what to put on. Get out of here. I'm not really sure what to put on there. There are a lot of options. This thing actually has a really good move pool. Shadow Ball could be useful for incoming, what do you call it? Ghosts. That's about it. See, and that means that our set is still pretty well walled by dark types. Come to think of it, though, the only thing I have in terms of options to hit those dark types is Focus Blast, and Focus Blast is unreliable at best, and it's not really something you see on defensive mons that much. Hold on a second, excuse me, I have to sneeze. Sorry about that. I don't know. I'm really conflicted on this because Focus Blast is so unreliable, and that still leaves me really susceptible to Spiritomb. Even though I can taunt them, it doesn't really help me too much in the long run to be able to do so. But for now, we'll just run Shadow Ball, I guess. We do have... I was also stuck on the possibility of using Energy Ball for catching Seismitoads off guard. But I can still deal with them relatively well Earthquake will probably hurt, but I do have Go-Goat who can handle them and threaten them out, so that's not exactly a problem. We're just going to go with this set right now. We're going to put the minus attack and we're going to set this to 0. I'm actually going to do the same with the lantern now that I think about it, because I forgot to. Oh my gosh. There we go. And we're going to find another companion for Grumpig. So something that can take on dark types and fighting types would be great. The first thing that comes to mind, honestly, is Granbull. Granbull can handle those things very well. And yeah, I think I'll do that. I do think I will put Granbull on here because it's a solid defensive mon. It can handle a lot of things, but it does leave me open to things like Malamar because of Intimidate, activating Contrary. It could be a big problem. Same thing with Defiant users like what you call that? What's it called? What the heck is it called? Pawnyard. And Primate. But it's okay. We will use a fully defensive set on this. You've probably seen me use one in the past, in one of my sessions, which is cool. I'm thinking about... It's weird, I have 3 things on my team that could have Heal Bell. But I guess that just kind of opens them up for other moves. So I will put Intimidate on here, and I will find out what kind of moves to use. So of course Play Rough. And let's see. I'm thinking something. Earthquake is good. Close combat is kind of counterproductive because it does, ruin my defenses. But we'll put Earthquake on there. It's basically a necessity. I have used the Rest Sleep Talk set before, which is, okay at best. I'm thinking mostly about my answers to Wheezing, but I don't appear to have any. What I might do is put Super Fang on there. That sounds a little weird, and it is kind of inaccurate, but it can come in handy sometimes. As with switch-ins. Things that switch into Granbull, you can take them down to half health right away, so I'll do that. That's a decent answer to Wheezing, even though it does rely more on its defensive stat than its HP to stay alive. Bringing it down to half is always a bonus, and then I can switch out into something to handle it, like Grumpig or Lantern. And I do have Heal Bell, so I can remove any Will-O-Wisp burn damage from my Pokemon. And then, as a fourth move, I could run Rest and Heal Bell that off. Don't know if I want to do that exactly, just because I'll run Roar. I will run Roar. That's what I will do. Because if I can take a hit from something like, again, for Alligator, and roar it out after it's set up, then that helps me out greatly. I'm going to put a little bit of speed in there to speed creep. It's already got 120 base attack, and that's actually very good. So I don't feel like I need to invest in that as much as I would like to outspeed other base 45s, I guess. I don't know how common those are, actually. But regardless, that's the set we're going to run, and we're going to put minus here, and we're going to find 2 Mons that I think can be suitable offensive companions for my team here. So what I want is something fast, and I want something special and physical. So I want 2 things, presumably, that are focused exactly on being physical and special. That came out a little weird. It's kind of hard to explain. But They're my sweepers. They are my things that come in, they clean up. If they don't sweep, they just clean things up and wreck shop. So something that I could use is Buffalon, which is sort of a bulky. I might use it as a bulky sweeper just to come in and deal heavy damage. I have run in the past an Assault Vest one because it does have really good defenses and it can take a lot of special hits, so I might do that, but I know that the Choice Banded set is also incredibly powerful. So why don't we take a look at its move set, because I haven't used it in a while, and see which would be better for it. So we do get Earthquake and Head Charge, which is very powerful, but you can also use Return or Frustration. And let's see, those are also incredibly powerful. Mega Horn, Iron Head, and Poison Jab. And we can give it, let's see, Reckless. Sap Sipper means that it can't be put to sleep by anything. I already do have something with Sap Sipper, but I would really like to have something that can handle Vivillon as well. So I'm going to have 2 Sap Sippers, which is a little unnecessary maybe, but I know that Go-Go can't handle it otherwise. Another thing is that Soundproof is very useful. So let's see. I'm trying to decide if I... Let's see, hold on a second. I think that I could manage to use Soundproof. Okay, hear me out on this. I can completely wall Chatot, which is incredibly annoying, and I could take Bug Buzzes if those were necessary. So yeah, I'm going to use an Assault Vest variant here, because I'm really thinking about being able to handle these things, and I know this doesn't sound much like a sweeper so much, but it's a really good tank, and I think that's also very valuable. So I can have one really strong special sweeper in the back as well, so I'm not completely boned. So we'll just give this thing max HP, max attack. We'll make it adamant, real standard set for Assault Vests, and I guess we could put 4 in speed just to outspeed other things, make it as fast as possible. Definitely minus special attack. And let's see here. I guess all we have to worry about now is moves. So Earthquake is pretty much a must. I'm trying to decide if I think I'll run Return just to mitigate recoil damage, because Reckless and Head Charge, it's very powerful. Don't get me wrong, but that's not something I need on a set like this. So other moves it can learn. It can learn Stone Edge. That's crazy. It can learn Surf. That's also crazy. This thing actually has a great move pool, and it's actually kind of difficult to decide what it could use. So why don't we look? Pursuit can be useful for anything. I might try Pursuit. Again, like I said earlier, this is not a perfect set, but I think Pursuit, I have used it before, and it can be very useful, because, to be honest, a lot of things, upon seeing how much they can't touch Buffalon, might want to switch out, and you can just pop them with a Pursuit, and it's like Chatot. Chatot can't do anything, but you pop it with an adamant 110 base attack, fully invested Pursuit. It's going to take a lot of damage. I don't think it'll die, but it'll take a lot of damage. Now, the only thing worth worrying about here is what else should I run? I could run. I wish. Might run Zen Headbutt. Zen Headbutt is definitely an okay choice. I don't know. This is just temporary, but you know, this is the kind of process I go through when I'm building teams. So now I want something fast and something special, because I don't have anything that has a lot of special power on my team. So what I will do is look through here. I definitely need something fast. I think I want a Scarfer, and I think I want something that's faster than Vivillon, just in case, because if it does put something on my team to sleep and start setting up, or actually Lilligant, because Lilligant is faster than, what do you call that thing? What do you call it? Vivillon. Lilligant's faster than Vivillon by 1 speed point, I think? Yeah. I think Lilligant is base 90, so it is. That means that I might want something like Typhlosion on my team. Typhlosion is fast, and with a Scarf it could be faster. Let's take a look. It gets Eruption, which is great. Pyroar is faster, has 109 special attack. So in terms of Scarfers, that's also great because Overheat is powerful. Hyper Voice is also powerful. Typhlosion has the same special attack, less speed. So, Blaze is also a great ability for when you are low. It has less weaknesses than Pyroar. I think we'll use that. I know that Specs Typhlosion has unstoppable power, but we're just going to have to roll with this right now. So yes, this does leave me susceptible to Aqua Jets from Feraligatr, but that's why I have other members of my team to handle it. So we'll just get that, put Eruption on there, why not, just in case it comes in handy. And then, do I want to be ballsy and rely on Fire Blast, or just, be safe and use Flamethrower, sorry. I'm real. I'm feeling real today. So we will try a Fire Blast set, and then we can also run Hidden Power Grass for, Seismitoads, because that's just really standard and really good on it. Let's see its other moves. Focus Blast is unreliable. What other types of special moves does it have? It doesn't really have a whole lot of other special moves. I could just run triple Fire Stab and put Overheat on there as well, but that doesn't sound like a very good idea. It looks like Focus Blast might have to be our option. As much as I don't want to rely on it very much, it could come in handy. So we will not max HP. We're going to put a minus here. Minus. And we're just going to deal with the 30 on there because I don't know how putting in 0 affects the hidden power, and I don't really want to mess around with that. So we're just going to put this. We're going to make it timid. Do we want to make it timid? Do we? No. I know that this will get outsped by other Scarfers who are faster than base 100, and any other Scarfer that's not quite base 100 and is timid. Let me look at something. I'm gonna go back and no, that's not what I wanted. Team Builder. I'm just gonna go here. I'm gonna make a new one. Add Pokemon because, well, no, Vivillon is base 89, so that's times 2. That's 178 plus 99 is 277 plus 27, 784, 304. So I kind of do really want to run Timid on here because it seems like, let me just check my math. Vivillon, Timid reaches 304, right? 304? Whatever. Come on. Sorry I'm doing this right now, but yeah, it is 304. So if you guys are wondering about how I was just doing that math, it might sound complicated. I might try to put something like an annotation on the screen at this point, but the idea about calculating something's stat, its real stat, not just its base stat, but using its base stat, is to take the base stat and multiply it by 2. So with Vivian, it's 89. If you multiply that by 2, you get 178. Then, if you add 36 to that, that will give you its uninvested, I believe, yeah, it's uninvested stat total. Like with Lantern here, it's base 67 times 2 is 134 plus 36, 170. And then you can add any amount between 0 and 63 to that, depending on your EVs. Like with this 216, that's that many worth. Sorry, I don't know what 216, 54 points. You know, 54 actual stat points. 1 for every 4 EVs. Sorry, this got complicated. So you take the thing, you take the base stat, multiply it by 2, add 36. That's what you get for a neutral, uninvested stat. Then you can add 63 for full investment, like with the defense here. And then you multiply the end result by 1.1, or add 1/10 of that to what you've got, and that will be your full total if you have a plus whatever nature. So like with this Lantern's defense, 215 plus 21 is 236. So that's a real simple way to do it. If it's fully invested, multiply the base stat by 2, add 99, and then multiply that by 1.1. Anyway, moving on, we will just make this timid, because I'd rather be able to outspeed things like +1 Vivillon and +1 Lilligant if they are timid. So that's what we'll do. And we're just going to add that there, and we're going to add that there, and we've got a team. It's not a perfect team by any means. Please don't think that I think this is the best team I've ever made. I don't know. I've never tried it. But it might actually do something, and against the right team, I might get a blowout. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I will be coming back to you with some more practice runs with this, but I think this video has probably been long enough, especially with my ramble about how to calculate a Pokemon's stats. So with that, guys, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something, and please tell me anything that you want to see on my channel, anything at all. Give me any pointers that you can about the team that I made. Tell me whether there's a flaw here or a flaw there, and I will try and work on it before I actually start and do the practice runs to see how the team works. So I guess I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace!